heroes. In order to save strangers you don't know, you hurt those who love you. That's what my father said. Pointless? I have a mission. Always have. Self-described heroes. You pretend to embody all that's good. Your kind is always the same. Every generation. You pretend you don't see those you can't protect. And cover up the pain you cause. Always thinking of yourselves as righteous. This world has grown so rotten it's infested with maggots. It happened little by little, but your mistakes added up. The coddled trash got used to being protected, while you took advantage of these so-called victims for your own profit. Everything that I've ever known, everything in this world you built rejected me. But not now. I'm the one who's rejecting you. That is why I destroy. That is why I keep gaining power. Simple, isn't it? And yet, you just don't understand. The fact that you don't get it is why we have heroes and villains.
Tomura Shigaraki, the symbol of fear and the dark mirror to Izuku Midoriya. And for most of My Hero Academia, he's painted as the ultimate antagonist, driven by rage, chaos, and destruction. But what if I told you that there's more to him than just villainy? What if I told you that beneath all of that malice, there's a twisted form of heroism at play? Today, we're diving deep into Tomura Shigaraki, not as the villain we know him to be, but as a warped reflection of a hero's journey. Stick around because what you know about Shigaraki might just change forever. In a world where 80% of the population has quirks, chaos reigns, and a profession everyone once dreamed about entered the spotlight. Who wouldn't want to be a pro hero? You have the freedom to use your quirk whenever you want, to save civilians from danger, gain celebrity status, and you have the legal authority to brutally assault people. What young boy wouldn't dream of being a pro hero one day? Especially when you find out that your grandma was once a pro hero. Unfortunately for you, you grew up in a household with a dad who would beat you if you even said the word hero. And one day your quirk awakens, and it's the power to decay everything you touch. But before you even realize you're now a superhuman, you've turned your dog, your sister, and your mom to dust. And when you see your father, the source of your pain, you unleash your power in a blind rage, killing him with a smile on your face. Alone, bloodied, scarred, you wander the streets despite a world overflowing with heroes. No one comes to save you. That's until a hand reaches out and helps you. Tomura Shigaraki started off pretty boring, but slowly developed into one of the best villains in modern shonen, and that's not an opinion, it's simply a fact of life. And that's because over time, Shigaraki's role in the story became undeniably clear. Alongside Deku, Tomura Shigaraki on his own is a twisted version of a hero. He's a hero to the villains, the real victims of this hero society. Everything he does is rooted in a deep desire to dismantle a corrupt, broken society. A hero society that turns a blind eye to those it deems unworthy. Because in a world full of heroes, somebody like Shigaraki should never have existed to begin with. And by the end of the series, even Deku agrees with Shigaraki. Shigaraki's closest allies in the League of Villains are living proof of this society's very own failures. They are casualties of a system that neglects the most vulnerable. People with problematic and dangerous quirks are just told to suppress it, to hide it, to try to fit in with everybody, instead of learning to live with their power. Some people come from a background of a pro hero who abuses them, who's born with a power that no matter how hard they train, will never be able to live up to the goal that they were born to surpass. Some quirks that you're born with change your appearance. They turn you into a giant lizard, and guess what? You're discriminated based on that power that you had no control of. If you even look at the top 10 pro hero charts, Mirako and Hawks are the only mutant type quirk users, and if you snip off their ears and wings, they basically look human. Shoto in 3/4 of his movies is fighting a mutant. I'm not calling him racist, but
UA and Endeavor haven't been teaching you near enough.
You damn mutt! Todoroki!
the pro hero system is not built to save lives. It's built to sustain itself, a business that thrives on the existence of villains. Even among heroes themselves, there's corruption and moral compromise. Fight over glory, neglect the very ideals they claim to uphold. These actions, they undermine their legitimacy and paint them as self-serving rather than protectors of justice.
The word hero has lost all meaning in this society. The world is overrun by fakes and criminals like you who chase petty dreams.
In Tenko's conclusion, this world is rotten, and the only way to fix it is to destroy it. Shigaraki argues that only radical change, not incremental reform, can make a difference. And honestly, who can argue with him? Shigaraki is not just lashing out for chaos. He's forcing the world to confront its flaws, to acknowledge who they have done wrong. Because in his mind, once everything crumbles to dust, something better can arise from the ashes. But Shigaraki didn't come to this conclusion alone. He was groomed, molded by a society that abandoned him, a society that created him as the symbol of fear. No one saved Tenko Shimura. And before you say All For One manipulated him, yes, of course. But at the same time, All For One is simply a byproduct of a world where if you follow your quirk's desires, you can live happy and freely. And Shigaraki, being a caring person, seeing the people who have followed him, he knows that All For One's way is right. The only way for his friends to be happy is to follow their quirk's desires. For Shigaraki to follow his quirk's desire to destroy. No one saved Tenko Shimura when he needed it. Just like so many others, he was left to slip through the cracks. But when Shigaraki fell through the cracks, he became a hero to save the same people who also fell through the cracks. His actions are extreme, but they're inevitable results of a society that fails the very people it's supposed to protect. Tenko Shimura was not born evil. He's a product of a broken system, and it begs the question, in a world of heroes, who stands up for the fallen? Who stands up to say enough is enough? Shigaraki's idea to destroy everything is very, very dramatic. But from his perspective, this world is too far gone for peaceful change. Tear it all down, start fresh. This time society will be forced to listen to the voices that they ignored. In this current world, people like Spinner, Shigaraki, Toga, Twice, Dabi are expected to lie down and die and roll with society and everybody else. But Shigaraki refuses. His rage and destruction have a purpose: to tear down the flawed hero society and rebuild something better from its ruins. Even Deku understands this. He recognizes that within Shigaraki's destructive heart lies Tenko Shimura, the boy society abandoned. And that's why Deku tries to save him, because even in the end, even the darkest villains were once victims. And that's why Shigaraki is right.